After approximately 4 hours of negotiations, the subject came outside the residence and shot at police officers.
Breaking news here at 6 o'clock. A suspect is dead and 3 officers hurt in a shootout and standoff in the suburbs. We're live as this story continues to unfold.
Plus, as thousands get ready to celebrate the 4th of July with fireworks at Navy Pier, we are live with how police plan to keep everyone safe.
And Andy says you may be dodging downpours for your afternoon barbecues, but will the weather spare the big fireworks displays? Certainly hope so. Good morning. Happy Independence Day. Thanks for being here. I'm Alex Marigo.
And I'm Zoraida Sambalin. So let's head right over to Storm Team Meteorologist Andy Avalos. He has all the answers for you this morning.
Well, I can tell you this. There will be some that will be dodging downpours. They'll be here or there, but not everywhere. And nowhere in sight for now. Beautiful beginning to the day. Some high, thin clouds, a little haze out there, but otherwise the sun is shining brightly and a beautiful beginning. It's a warm and humid start leading to a hot and a very humid afternoon. So yet again, we have a weather advisory in effect. It's a heat advisory in effect for our inland locations starting at noon, running till 8 o'clock this evening. That's the window for peak heating. So if you're away from the lakefront down to the far south and over in northwest Indiana, it's going to be another steamer. Out the door this morning already, it's a steamy start. Temperatures are in the 70s. You're up to 70 now in Waukegan, up from your 68. Officially 76 at O'Hare. Good morning in Valparaiso. You're at 73. Kankakee at 71. And in Peru, you're at 77. I'll talk about the heat, humidity, and the storms coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. Our top story here at 6 is breaking news this morning. Police shot and killed a suspect after he opened fire on officers in the suburbs. 3 officers were also shot here. NBC5's Susan Carlson is live in South Elgin with the very latest details. Been following this all morning. Susan, still a lot of police still on the scene.
Well, yes, we just were allowed a little bit closer, and we wanted to give you some perspective of what's still going on here. As you can see, this is still an active scene. That suspect was killed after a 4-hour standoff with about a dozen police agencies and SWAT teams. 3 officers, as you said, Alex, were shot. They are expected to survive. Take a look at these pictures just into the newsroom from neighbors who were terrified inside their homes for several hours here in the 300 block of Woodridge. Police say they responded to reports of shots fired in the area when a man with a shotgun opened fire on them. The suspect told police he also had a high-powered assault rifle. Most of the people who live around here were evacuated, but we did talk to this man who says he locked himself in his bedroom.
I was just, very scared of bullets coming in through our house and injuring me or my family, whether it be the shooter or I saw a lot of SWAT team, and I know they had snipers out there and stuff, so I was just, for about 3 hours there, kind of crouched down or laying down in my closet, just hoping for the best.
We did assist people leaving the residences, obviously due to the gunfire in the area.
You can imagine the terrifying situation for all the people who live. This is a very large condo development around here. Now, a 4th officer also had to be taken to a hospital to get checked out. Again, 3 officers were shot and wounded. We do not have information on what agencies they were with or how severe those injuries are, other than police emphasizing that they are not life-threatening. We are expecting more information from police coming up a little bit later this morning. For now, that's the latest from South Elgin. Susan Carlson, NBC5 News.
All right, Susan, we appreciate you getting to the scene. Thanks so much for that information. An investigation also underway into a deadly police-involved shooting on Chicago's west side. Officers were responding to a call of a person with a gun last night near Fulton and Kilpatrick. They say someone took off around there and then jumped a fence. That person got into what they call an armed confrontation with officers. That man was hit and later died at the hospital. Police say this weapon was found at the scene, and according to police, at least 6 shots were fired. Witnesses say more.
Officers that were responding got into a confrontation with this armed individual. The officers were forced to discharge their weapon, striking the individual.
I heard 15 to 16 shots, back to back, nonstop.
The officers involved here will be placed on 30-day administrative leave per department policy, and the Civilian Office of Police Accountability is investigating.
6:03 is the time, and right now rescuers are deciding between two options to get a soccer team out of a flooded cave in Thailand. What you're looking at right now is a live picture of that mission that is underway. Crews are geared up. They're trying to figure out a plan. We have new video this morning of the 12 boys and their soccer coach being treated inside that cave. The team is accompanied by Navy SEAL members, including a doctor and a nurse. You see them treating leg wounds, foot wounds there. They're treating those minor cuts on the feet and legs using antibiotic ointment. In another video, the boys are introducing themselves, and you know what? They're saying that they are healthy. Meantime, rescuers are considering a few options to get the team out. They are all risky. One option is to start the rescue right now, but none of the boys know how to swim. So rescuers are scrambling to teach them diving skills. 2 rescue divers would be assigned to help each boy navigate the very tight tunnels. But the route would be a dangerous 2.5-mile trip, and at some points, too narrow to wear scuba gear. Experts warn this plan would be difficult for even professional divers.
There's no visibility. Then on top of that, there's very narrow passageways. So the divers needed to run lines in order to be able to get in and get out.
All right, so another option is to keep the kids underground and send them supplies until the waters recede. That's what they're doing right now. They're sending them food also. But there is more rain in the forecast, unfortunately, so it could be weeks or even months, they say, before those kids are safely out and the soccer coach. Another possibility under consideration, this is new, it's drilling new entries into the cave so the rescuers can attempt to pull everybody out. Wow. The Park Forest Aqua Center will remain closed today as an investigation into a young boy's drowning continues there. This is awful. 10-year-old Jaleel Drayton was found dead after he got into the public pool when it was closed. It happened either late Monday night or early yesterday morning.
6:06, happy 4th of July to everybody. This is a live look at Navy Pier, where patriotic pride will appear on full display today. City officials are preparing for one of the biggest holiday celebrations. NBC5's Sandra Torres live there at Navy Pier to tell us how. Sandra, good morning.
Good morning, Alex. And we know that tens of thousands of people are expected here at Navy Pier, not just for the fireworks, but all over the city to celebrate. That's why Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson is sending out a message to those visiting.
We just need everybody to act responsibly. That's all we ask for.
In order to keep crime down, Chicago police say they are adding more officers on the streets compared to last year. They plan on deploying more than 1,500 officers, including 100 stationed in parks and right here on the packed lakefront. The department is also partnering up with federal law enforcement agencies to try to get the job done.
Mobile command centers will be placed in strategic locations throughout the city to allow us to make split-second changes to our deployments if necessary.
And city and state police are also cracking down on drunk driving and speeding, so keep that in mind. Also, if you are coming to Navy Pier, the show is scheduled to begin at 9:30, but it is highly recommended that you get here hours earlier because the venue could close if they reach capacity. Reporting live from Navy Pier, Sandra Torres, NBC5 News.
I don't think that's an if, I think that is a when.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sandra. We appreciate it.
Oh, we see that beautiful
right.
sun. Yeah, you see that beautiful sunrise coming up behind Sandra as well. A nice picture this morning, Andy.
You bet. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Many will be headed to the lakefront today to enjoy the day and the fireworks later this evening. Off to a beautiful beginning. There's some haze out there, a few high, thin clouds, otherwise plenty of blue sky and sunshine. And it's a warm start, 73 degrees downtown. Inland temperatures a few degrees warmer. O'Hare's at 76, Midway at 77. Down to the far southwest, Peru is at 77. Kankakee, good morning, you're at 71. Valparaiso, 73. Even up north of Woodstock, you're also at 73 and currently 70 in Woodstock. So we have high humidity values this morning and warmer temperatures, on average running about 6 to 12 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. So it's a steamy start out there. And while we don't have any fog, I should say, we have widespread haze across the area. That's all that low-level moisture. And that's going to be wrung out in the form of showers and storms for some as the day progresses. So initially, mostly sunny skies. They become partly cloudy with those building tower and cumulus clouds. Those will lead to scattered showers and storms this afternoon and this evening at about 30, maybe perhaps 40% of the area. Some downpours and gusty winds. In between is just going to be hot and humid, guys.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. The Secret Service has a warning for anybody hitting the road this holiday, what they discovered at gas stations all across the country.
And there's a Chicago connection to President Trump's short list for the Supreme Court. Then police posing as panhandlers, what officers in Michigan are looking for as they go undercover.
And the mistaken patriotism here. Popular songs you'll likely hear throughout fireworks displays tonight that are not exactly odes to America. Welcome back. It's a reminder this morning to pay close attention while you're pumping your gas. The Secret Service says thieves are placing credit card skimmers at gas pumps. The small devices copy credit card information, and thieves either pick up the skimmers or they transmit the stolen financial information using Bluetooth technology. The Secret Service is offering some advice. Pay inside if you can, and if not, choose a pump that is closest to the store and even try to wiggle the card reader to make sure a skimmer is not on there.
All right, Michigan State Police are cracking down on drivers while posing as panhandlers. This undercover trooper is wearing a camouflage vest and a straw hat. He's even holding a sign. It reads, "Buckle up, seat belts save lives." When the officer spots a driver breaking the law, he will go on his radio, describe the car to troopers nearby to make a traffic stop. The undercover patrol began yesterday. In just one day, guess what? There were 76 total violations. All right, so these headlights are now illegal in Indiana. A new law went into effect over the weekend. It prohibits certain light colors on cars. Illegal colors now include blue, purple, and green. Colors like white and amber are allowed for headlights, while red and amber are acceptable for signal lights. The only exemption is for emergency vehicles.
All right, you may want to smile in your next passport photo. A new study says it can protect you from identity fraud. Researchers at the University of York found that some people were hard to identify when their facial expression was neutral, but it was easier to match photos where people are smiling in both pictures. Now, researchers suggest that smiling could help immigration agents at passport check stops and potentially reduce identity fraud.
Well, Andy's tracking the time that rain is moving out of the area today.
And what people are using now, using more now than they have in years, and this is because of the weather. Then you can catch all of the honors to Illinois in this new corn maze. Look at that, where you can walk through the state's most famous landmarks. Amazing.
Right now, we face another hot day in the Chicago area, but the heat wave out east has been so intense, power use surged yesterday to its highest point since 2013. The spike in demand saw wholesale electricity prices jump 19% to $103 a megawatt an hour by 1 p.m. New York has cracked 90 degrees or more every day since Saturday.
And guess what?
Bleh.
It's going to be hot again today.
That's right. In fact, some of that big, expansive heat dome is retrograding or backing westward into the Midwest. That means more hot, humid weather for us. So if you're looking for relief, I have a suggestion. Well, we look out the weather.
Jump in the lake.
Jump in the lake. That was one of my suggestions. As we look to the eastern horizon this morning, yeah, the sun is already up. Some high, thin clouds, a little haze out there, but a beautiful beginning. And it's a warm morning leading to a hot afternoon. So as I was saying, if you're looking for a little relief today, everybody into the pool or maybe the lake if you're going to be there. As far as our forecast conditions go, it's going to be hot and humid as we head through the course of the day. Temperatures by late this morning in the upper 80s, reaching the low 90s this afternoon. And heat index values inland will be pushing the century mark. Now, it will be cooler and more comfortable at the lakefront, but still very warm and humid there. And even this evening will still be in the mid 80s, and it'll be steamy and feeling more like it's in the 90s. And we do see the thunderstorm icon here as we go through the afternoon and early evening hours. These will be scattered in nature, 30-40% of the area at any given time with a downpour, but many dry hours in between when it's just going to be hot and humid. This morning is warm and humid. We're scattered throughout the 70s, as you can see, and we're going to warm quickly. By the time you're heading out later this morning or into the early this afternoon, we're going to be well into the mid to upper 80s. As I mentioned, we'll push the upper 80s and low 90s in most areas. We will have a light onshore breeze, so it'll be a little cooler along the lakefront, a little less humid, but even there, it'll still feel like it, and right around 90 degrees. Well, heat index values inland will be 100 to possibly 105 in our far south and southwest counties. Still steamy as we head through the evening hours. When you're out to watch the fireworks, we'll be in the low to mid 80s, but it'll still feel like it's in the 90s. Then by the time you're heading home, it'll still be steamy out there. So when will the rain arrive? I think we're going to be dry pretty much all morning long. The risk for strong to severe storms way up to the northwest of us, so we're not too focused about that today. But you notice the green shaded areas around the metro area. That's an indication that we have the general risk for thunderstorms. So mostly sunny skies become partly cloudy as we see those towering cumulus clouds building once again today like yesterday. And I think as we head through the afternoon hours, we get some instability going. That'll start to pop those scattered showers and storms in about 30 to 40% of the area at any given time. And again, while non-severe, they could put down some heavy rainfall. There'll be slow movers and then some gusty winds, but that looks like that'll be it. So some will be dodging downpours for a while. Then these will fade away. And then as they get the heating of the day to go away, the storm threat will diminish area wide, hopefully in most areas, if not all, by the time we get to the 8 or 9 o'clock hour for fireworks. And certainly most of these will be gone by 10 o'clock. Then overnight, it'll just be warm and humid for us once again. Tomorrow, though, we have a couple of little systems we'll be dealing with to produce some showers and storms probably as we start the day. Then a relatively dry period, but in advance of a cold front, another round of scattered storms that may become a stronger line with that cold front by late afternoon and evening. And some of these could be strong to severe. The storm team will keep a close eye on that situation. With the passage of the cold front, the winds will be turning it off the lake, and by Saturday, I make that Friday a much more cooler and comfortable day is on the way for us. But your 4th of July forecast is going to be hot and humid. Again, scattered showers and thunderstorms, but they'll fade away later this evening for all the fireworks displays. Alex?
All right, Andy, thanks so much. New developments this morning in the search to fill Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy's seat. A source with firsthand knowledge of the Supreme Court selection process tells NBC News these 7 candidates are under consideration for that pick. The 7 were picked from a much larger list that was compiled when President Trump had to pick Justice Antonin Scalia's replacement. And Chicago Appeals Court Judge Amy Coney Barrett, here in the corner, is among the 7 that President Trump may nominate. She currently serves on the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the 7th Circuit here in Chicago. The Notre Dame Law School graduate was a former clerk to Justice Scalia. Barrett is the youngest potential appointee at age 46. She is a devout Roman Catholic, married with 7 children.
Such an important decision, and we're going to give you a great one. We're going to announce it on Monday, and I think you'll be very impressed. These are very talented people, brilliant people, and I think you're going to really love it, like Justice Gorsuch. We hit a home run there, and we're going to hit a home run here.
President Trump plans to announce his pick on Monday.
6:20 is a time the Trump administration says the government would no longer encourage schools to use race as a factor in the admissions process. Attorney General Jeff Sessions made that announcement yesterday. The move rescinded Obama-era memos that encouraged schools to consider race and improve diversity on campuses. Sessions said the policy was unnecessary and that it was outdated. The decision does not change, however, current U.S. law on affirmative action. And if you plan on hanging your American flag today, here are some specific guidelines on how to properly display Old Glory. Based on the federal flag code, you can display the U.S. flag outside from sunrise to sunset. If you would like to fly it at night, make sure that it is properly illuminated, and do not fly it during inclement weather, unless, of course, it's an all-weather flag. The flag should not touch anything below it or rest on the ground. Also, flags should not be draped or used as throws or table covers.
Active military members and veterans can save some cash today. Retailers and restaurants are offering discounts to people with a military ID, and here are just a few of them. Foot Locker is offering a 20% discount on most online items. Outback Steakhouse is offering 20% off the bill there. Some Culver's locations are providing specials to military members as well.
Okay, so here's something else that will benefit veterans. There was no winner in last night's VFW Queen of Hearts drawing in suburban McHenry. I know, right? So that means that the pot now stands at more than $2 million. Wow. If someone gets lucky next week, they will win $1.2 million. That's before taxes. And get this, the pot is becoming so popular that more than 250,000 tickets were sold for last night's drawing. So right now,
Just 17 cards remain.
So we're getting really close. We have to.
I think we should actually participate.
We should.
And they look like they have a ball out there.
Lots of
fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. No, a suburban attraction will celebrate the Land of Lincoln's 200th birthday. Come look at this. This is what the Richardson Adventure Farm corn maze will look like in September. Officials say this year's theme will center on Illinois landmarks. You can see Abraham Lincoln and the state capitol near the center. The corn maze in Spring Grove will include barns, bridges, and Chicago skyscrapers as well. There is a lot in there. The Ferris wheel as well. Richardson Adventure Farm will open in September.
I can't wait to have Mike Lorber over that in
Yes,
Sky 5.
we're going to want to see
very
that.
cool, right?
For sure, yeah. All right, well, cleaning up classrooms, the number of CPS schools that failed inspection.
And a big music festival in our area, it was just canceled. We'll tell you about that. Then police say a suburban man was selling these explosives as fireworks online. Wait until you hear the power they pack.
And on this Wednesday morning, the 4th of July, many have the day off. If you live in Northwest Indiana, you're off to a glorious start as well. Looking out the weather window in Munster, you can see the blue skies and sunshine, just a few high thin clouds that'll haze out there. So we'll call it mostly sunny. And temperatures will climb steadily throughout the day. For the mid-70s, we'll be pushing 90 this afternoon with plenty of heat and humidity and a few thunderstorms popping up later in the day.
Alrighty, so today you may hear songs like that one, Bruce Springsteen's classic Born in the USA. USA Today is reporting that many people have mistaken several songs for being patriotic. So, for example, Born in the USA tells a story of a boy sent to fight in Vietnam and returned home to a hostile country. Creedence Clearwater Revival's Fortunate Son talks about how the poor had to fight in Vietnam while the rich were spared. Woody Guthrie's This Land Is Your Land, it features social commentary. His omitted lyrics are, quote, "There was a big high wall there that tried to stop me. The sign was painted, said private property, but on the backside, it didn't say nothing." All right, so River Edge Park in Aurora has canceled the Art of Rap Festival. It was scheduled for next Saturday and had headliners such as Ice-T and Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. Organizers say it just did not work out this year. They are planning to meet with local artists and presenters to put on a show next summer. All tickets will be refunded.
Let's look at the World Cup here. The quarterfinals are now set. Yesterday, England overcame its history of letdowns in matches involving shootouts. The Brits withstood a late goal and penalty kicks to beat Colombia. Meanwhile, Sweden scored in the 66th minute on their way to a 1-0 win over Switzerland. So here's a look at the matchups for the quarterfinals. On Friday, Uruguay will take on France. Brazil faces off with Belgium. Then Saturday, it's England against Sweden and Croatia taking on the host country, Russia. Remember, you can always catch all the World Cup action live in Spanish on our sister station, Telemundo.
And watch your lead foot. Where speed cameras are going up in Chicago in order to get you to slow down.
And why firefighters say even sparklers can be dangerous today. Then Chicago police are involved in a second shooting in as many days. Why an officer opened fire overnight.
After the encounter, 3 officers were struck by gunfire.
Breaking news at 6:30, 3 officers are hurt in a suburban standoff that left the suspect dead. We're live with what witnesses saw and heard.
Plus, it is a hot and humid 4th of July where it may feel like 100 degrees outside for your barbecue.
Plus, a warning about playful pyrotechnics. These may look like popular children's toys, but they are anything but that. Be very careful on this 4th of July. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zoraida Sambola.
And I'm Alex Maragos. Let's first get a check of our weather here this morning. Andy Avalos monitoring that for us.
Well, happy 4th of July and Wednesday. If you have the day off, you're going to get out and enjoy it. And if you're on your way to work, well, it's a beautiful beginning. High thin clouds, lots of blue sky and sunshine, touch of haze out there because it's quite humid. And while temperatures are really warm this morning at 76 officially at O'Hare, heading for an afternoon high of 91. And when you factor in the humidity, it's going to feel considerably hotter than that. This morning, it is a warm start. Area-wide temperatures temperatures in the 70s. It's 73 in Valparaiso and in Morris. Up north it's 73 in Woodstock, officially 76 at O'Hare. So temperatures on average running about 6 to 12 degrees warmer than 24 hours ago. So get ready for a hot and humid day, and storms are on the way, and I'll break that down in just a few minutes for you.
All right, Andy, thanks so much. Now to that breaking news. A 4-hour standoff with an armed suspect is over. The suspect fired shots at police, and police returned fire, hitting and killing that suspect. Susan Carlson has been there all morning in South Elgin, first at the police station, but now at the scene with more on what happened there early this morning. Susan?
Yeah, Alex, 3 officers were shot in that exchange of gunfire, but their injuries not considered life-threatening. We are here at the scene right now, and I can show you that this is still a very active scene. You've got the Kane County Command Unit, SWAT teams, and several police agencies that have been here responding. This started about 11 last night when police say they responded to reports of a man who was firing shots from one of the condos here.
Officers immediately began taking fire from a shotgun. The individual began yelling vulgarities at the officers and stated that he would shoot officers if they came at him.
This is in the condominium complex in the 300 block of Woodridge. Negotiators were called in from the Kane County SWAT team, and about a dozen other agencies responded as well. Police say that suspect fired at an officer, or several of them, I should say, twice during a 4-hour standoff. Most of the people who live around here were evacuated, but we did speak to one man who says he barricaded himself inside his condo while all this was going on.
I heard 3 more really loud bangs in a row. I thought they were fireworks, so I was falling asleep, so I went out the back door to tell the neighbor, whoever was shooting off fireworks, to knock it off. And as soon as I stepped out the back patio, I heard several voices yelling, "Drop the gun, drop the gun, drop the gun."
Police still busy here assessing the scene, gathering more evidence. We still don't have any information about who this suspect was or a motive for why this incident began in the first place. We are expecting to get more information at a press conference planned for 8 o'clock this morning. In South Elgin, Susan Carlson, NBC 5 News.
Thank you, Susan. A man was shot and killed by police on the city's west side last night. This happened right near Fulton and Kilpatrick. That person got into an armed confrontation with the officers. Police say this weapon was found at the scene. The officers involved will be placed on a 30-day administrative leave. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability, is also investigating there. And this was the second police-involved shooting in as many nights. We first told you yesterday about a juvenile who pointed a gun at an officer in a Family Dollar parking lot. It happened at 79th and Yates. The officer fired his weapon, hit the suspect. The officer is on leave right now. The suspect, who does have a criminal history, is recovering in the hospital.
A sad story here. A fireworks show turns deadly in Rock Island, Illinois. Police say people were sitting under a tree right by the Rock Island County Courthouse last night. And toward the end of the fireworks show that they were watching, a large tree branch fell. One person was killed and 5 others hurt. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused that branch to fall. Well, this Waukegan man is behind bars accused of selling homemade fireworks. Lake County sheriffs say the gang task force received a tip about Janko Armanoff. Undercover detectives went on a social media site to buy 100 half sticks of explosives from Armanov. Once they met, Armanov was taken into custody. Deputies say he had nearly 150 explosive devices in his possession, and it contained enough explosive powder to equal a half a stick of dynamite.
6:34 is the time. So for many, the 4th of July will be a day for parades, barbecues, and of course, all of the fireworks. And while fireworks can be a lot of fun, there's a lot that can go wrong with them. NBC5's Charlie Wojciechowski has a holiday warning.
Sparklers may seem like the simplest and most available fireworks, but the Chicago Fire Department warns they can be among the most dangerous, proving their point with a simple T-shirt.
They burn at about 2,000 degrees. That's enough to actually dissolve metal. So it does burn quite hot, and that's where the danger truly comes in.
The CFD warns that 30% of fireworks injuries are to the hands and fingers, another 19% to the eyes. And 70% of all fireworks injuries happen during the 4 weeks surrounding the 4th of July. The Consumer Products Safety Commission says even the fireworks you buy at roadside stands can be dangerous.
In 2017, there were 8 deaths as a result of fireworks, and then there were 12,900 injuries as a result of the use of fireworks.
Michael Spencer is one of those victims. He was holding a mortar and shell firework over his head, much like this mannequin, when it exploded. The CPSC recommends that if you do use fireworks, always keep a bucket or garden hose handy to douse the spent device. Never try to relight a firework that didn't work, and never buy fireworks wrapped in brown paper. They're meant for professionals. Finally, light one device at a time. The safest way to enjoy fireworks is to watch a professionally produced show like the one here at Navy Pier. Or if you're so inclined, you can watch what's going on here by way of the NBC Chicago app. In Streeterville, Charlie Wojciechowski, NBC 5 News.
Very important warnings there, thank you. And firefighters are warning about fireworks that are disguised as popular toy characters. Check this out. These My Little Pony and Pete's Dragon figurines are actually fireworks.
No way.
Yep, a fire inspector in Concord, North Carolina found them while inspecting a fireworks stand. They look just like toys, but they have wicks in their horns and tails. They can shoot out smoke, flames, sparks. Toy company Hasbro says it does not make those fireworks.
Wow. All right, 6:37 right now, and as we deal with our heat today, our founding fathers had it a little bit better 242 years ago. While official weather records were not kept back then, Thomas Jefferson kept a weather log, and according to the American Museum of Natural History, Jefferson said on July 4th, 1776, it reached 76 degrees in Philadelphia. But you got to keep in mind, they didn't have air conditioning back then at the State House as well, and many delegates wore heavy suits and wigs. But 76, not too bad.
Apparently at night it was about 68 degrees, and there was a little bit of a breeze also. Who knew?
Yeah, I vaguely remember because I was only 3.
No, stop it, stop it.
Isn't that cool, though?
Yeah, it
a little
is.
glimpse back.
Yeah.
Keeping weather
a step
logs.
back in time. Yeah. Well, kind of, sort of, as last weekend was so oppressive, we're going to bring some of that heat and humidity back today. Not as oppressive, but not far from it. The winds will be a summer breeze that blows today, but relatively light. We're not going to have a strong wind today, so there's not going to be a lot of mixing going on. So all that wet moisture in the atmosphere is going to feel like a wet blanket. For now, though, it's a beautiful beginning as we look along the skyline. If you're heading out the door, temperatures vary across the area, but only by a few degrees. O'Hare is officially at 76. Out to the west of DeKalb, you're at 74. Joliet to the southwest at 75. Up north of Waukegan, you're at 70. Morris to the far southwest is at 73. And Valparaiso in northwest Indiana currently at 73. Okay, so let's factor in the humidity. What will it feel like as we head through the day? Well, by lunchtime, you're heading outdoors, and already it's steamy. It'll feel like it's in the low 90s. And as we progress throughout the afternoon with our peak heating, I think our inland areas, especially down to the south and southwest, will be pushing 100 to 105. I think most of the areas north of I-80 will still be in the upper 90s to 100. That's what it'll feel like. It'll be a little more comfortable at the lakefront, but not much. It'll still be steamy there. And when you're going out for fireworks this evening, it'll still feel like it's in the mid 90s. And even by the time you're heading home, it'll still be quite steamy. And in between all the hot stuff, yep, we'll be tracking some showers and thunderstorms. They'll be scattered in nature, probably 30 to 40% of the area. You'll get some downpours and gusty winds.
Thank you very much. Staying safe at the lakefront. What Chicago police are doing to make sure your 4th of July does not take a dangerous turn.
And science is looking at what causes many men to go after those really expensive cars.
I'm curious.
Plus.
We're honored to be that mother-daughter combo.
You're going to meet this mother-daughter combo making history at Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Hello there, welcome back. New this morning, the city is adding speed cameras near 2 parks and 3 schools. This summer, cameras will be placed near Hiawatha and Kosciuszko parks on the northwest side. Also, cameras will be placed near Acero schools on the southwest side, near North Montessori School on the near northwest side, and then Gary Comer College Prep High School on the south side. And Chicago public schools are working to clean up some dirty schools. Data released by the school district yesterday showed that 1 in 4 schools failed blitz inspections. Following reports of dirty conditions, more than 100 schools still could pass inspections. Amazingly, that's an improvement from an earlier round of inspections.
Well, some Chicago parents are concerned about the safety of city playgrounds, and a few of them created a hashtag on Twitter called CPS Playground So Broke. Parents across the city are using it to post pictures of broken or damaged equipment.
This is ridiculous. This is not an environment that children should be on.
A kid should have a safe place to play. They shouldn't be coming home every day with blood dripping down.
Some parents are pushing CPS to fix these play areas. They're also applying for grants through nonprofits. Well, what is changing at some suburban parks to make everybody feel welcome?
And who's offering to help with your 4th of July barbecue today? Then Andy tells us if you should expect the rain to ruin your outdoor plans.
Welcome back. Andy Avalos here providing us with his fireworks forecast now.
Well, you know, Mother Nature is going to produce some of her own natural fireworks in some locations before the day is done, unfortunately. But I think as we head through the evening hours and the sun sets, things will stabilize and most of the fireworks displays, if not all, will get in without a hitch. What we're talking about, the old phrase, if it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And that'll be the case once again today as we've gone from the comfortable to the sticky to the uncomfortable. Now we're moving into the oppressive and miserable category when it comes to dew points well into the 70s. So it's a steamy start to the day, and it's only going to feel worse as we progress. So this morning it feels like it's in the upper 70s and low 80s, and as we head through the day, watch those temperatures climb and the heat index values combined make it feel like the low 90s by lunchtime, well into the upper 90s and low 100s in most areas this afternoon. Some spots to the far south and southwest where we have more of the cornfields and higher moisture content there, it'll feel like 105. There'll be some relief at the lakefront because of a light onshore breeze, but even there it'll still feel like it's around 90 degrees and very humid. And if you're going out to watch fireworks this evening, look at that at 8 o'clock, still feeling like it's in the mid 90s, and even by the time you're heading home it'll still feel like it's in the upper 80s to right around 90 degrees. So steamy stuff on the way for us today, and guess what, once again tomorrow as well. As we jump ahead tomorrow afternoon, again the feels like temperatures will be pushing the century mark plus in many locations before we finally get some relief in the form of a cold front, but that'll arrive as we head into the Friday time frame. So today we'll start out with lots of hazy sunshine, but we'll start to see clouds build later this morning and this afternoon. In the heating of the day, we'll get some instability going. We're likely to see a few showers and thunderstorms popping up, but I think aerial coverage will be limited to about 30 or 40% as we head through the afternoon. Now, while non-severe, any of these storms could put down some downpours because they're going to be very slow moving and some gusty winds, but I think more areas will stay dry than wet. So if you get under one of these, it won't last for too long. And as the sun sets and the air stabilizes, I think most, if not all of these, will fade away. Overnight, it's going to be steamy, and by tomorrow morning, we'll be tracking a wave in the pre-dawn hours, likely to produce a few scattered storms in spots, and then we'll watch that move into northwest Indiana by late morning. Then the cold front starts to approach. In advance of that front, we'll see some scattered storms developing, and a line is possible of stronger storms with some downpours, gusty winds, and maybe some small hail late afternoon and evening as that front goes through. Notice how the winds are now turning to the north. As we head through the overnight hours, that's going to start to bring in some cooler conditions and a much better day for us by the time we get to Friday. But your 4th of July forecast, again, mostly sunny, becoming partly cloudy. It'll be hot. It'll be humid. There'll be those scattered thunderstorms. Again, heat index values will break the century mark inland where we have that heat advisory. Then tomorrow, again, another hot and humid day with more scattered showers and thunderstorms, especially most numerous in the afternoon and evening. But look at the refreshing day on Friday.
Gorgeous.
Wow, it'll be in the low 70s along the lakefront and low 80s well inland. A beautiful weekend on the way for us. And then we'll tap some more warmth and humidity as we look ahead to next week when temperatures once again will be pushing the upper 80s, if not low 90s, Arida.
Looks nice there on the weekend. Thank you, Andy. Well, Independence Day is here. Tens of thousands of visitors are expected to flood Chicago today. Right here, you are taking a live look at the beautiful Navy Pier, where many will pack in to watch the fireworks show tonight. City officials say they are prepared to keep holiday celebrations safe for you. NBC5 Sandra Torres reports from Navy Pier.
We know that Navy Pier is a go-to spot for fireworks displays, and of course, as always, large crowds are expected. That's why the Chicago Police Department says they're adding more officers on the streets compared to last year. They plan on deploying more than 1,500 officers, including 100 stationed in parks and on the packed lakefront. The department is optimistic that will help keep crime down this holiday week.
Mobile command centers will be placed in strategic locations throughout the city to allow us to make split-second changes to our deployments if necessary.
This is definitely an all-hands-on-deck approach. We're getting tons of anonymous tips coming in.
City and state police also are cracking down on drunk driving and speeding. If you plan on coming to Navy Pier, public transportation is highly recommended. Also, it's recommended that you get here as early as you can because it's likely that the venue will reach its capacity and they will close the gates early. Reporting from Navy Pier, Sandra Torres, NBC 5 News.
Sandra, thanks. The Glenview Park District will now be more inclusive for transgender employees and visitors. Its Board of Commissioners approved 2 new policies last month. One policy protects transgender visitors and their right to use restrooms and locker rooms based on the gender they identify with. And the second policy protects transgender employee rights, and it addresses logistics for employees who are planning a transition. Also this morning, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit over LL Bean's return policy. Back in February, the company changed its lifetime return policy to a 1-year limit on most returns. Then an Illinois man named Victor Bondi sued LL Bean. He said the lifetime warranty was part of the appeal to buy from that company. The judge decided yesterday that Bondi was never dissatisfied with the product or denied a refund. The judge then dismissed the case.
6:50 is the time here. New this morning, insight into why many men prefer a Jaguar to a Jeep. A new University of Pennsylvania study shows that testosterone increases men's desire for expensive, high-status goods. Researchers asked a group of more than 240 men to rank the brands of clothes, cars, and other items that they liked. Men who were given a dose of testosterone had a stronger preference for luxury brands than those who got a placebo. This is a serious study, folks. Authors of the study say that testosterone plays a role in behavior for social rank. So, owning status products is a way to signal one's rank.
About that.
Gentlemen.
Okay. Need some guidance on the grill today. Longhorn Steakhouse will open its Grill Us hotline today from 9 to 3. A team of grill masters can provide tips and tricks on how to perfectly grill up the steaks, burgers, and any other items you may have on your menu. The phone number for that hotline listed on your screen below right now. You can also visit Longhorn's social media pages to chat live with a grill master.
Well, it is a 4th of July tradition unlike any other. Today, the world's most competitive eaters will participate in Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Contestants have 10 minutes to eat as many hot dogs and buns as they can. But for 2 competitors, it is a mother-daughter chow down showdown. NBC's John Chandler reports.
The school superintendent from Basking Ridge, New Jersey.
It's quite a sight, all these guys stuffing their faces with hot dogs. But that woman on the right, enjoying every bite, that's Montville, New Jersey's school superintendent.
It is the Super Bowl of competitive eating.
Renee Rovtar devoured her dream last year, qualifying for Nathan's famous 4th of July International Hot Dog Eating Contest. Her family wasn't quite sure she could stomach it.
Renee Rovtar.
Oh, I thought she was crazy.
Then, daughter Christina had her own crazy thought. This year, she'd join her. They'll be the first mother-daughter duo in the 102-year history of the Nathan's competition.
We're honored to be that mother-daughter combo.
Renee and Christina both crave competition. Mom has finished 22 marathons after all. I spent an afternoon in Manhattan with them. No time for lunch. They're in prep mode. And I have so many questions.
Do you like hot dogs? Are you enjoying the hot dog as you're going through the experience doing it? Like what?
I don't know if enjoy is the word I would use,
I
but
think the first one tastes really awesome, and then you realize how much you're trying to push yourself, and then the flavor just disappears. It's just all about getting it down.
And of course, keeping it down.
In competitive eating, you do not want to have happen to you what they call the reversal of fortune.
That doesn't sound pretty.
No. You don't want to witness again what you've already digested, so.
Of course, neither is a Joey Chestnut. They might not eat 10 hot dogs the rest of the year. But this 4th of July, Renee will aim for 10 in 10 minutes. Christina will be fine with 9. The number doesn't really matter. It's more about sharing another mother-daughter memory. And it'll take more than a stomach full of hot dogs to reverse their fortune. But just to be sure, no rides on this trip to Coney. John Chandler, News 4 New York.
Whoa, chow down showdown.
22 marathons, the other big number. That's
yeah, she's a competitor. All right, speaking of hot dogs, thousands will be laid in a line in suburban Romeoville today. At 2 o'clock this afternoon, the Mistwood Golf Club will attempt to break the Guinness World Record. Listen to this, for the longest continuous line of cooked hot dogs.
Okay.
The current record is 1,157 feet.
Are people going to eat some of those after?
Maybe they'll put it down on something, so then, yeah, you can You can eat it
those
after.
afterwards.
What a waste.
Or invite the
otherwise.
people from Nathan's to come. They'll finish them. All right. We'll tell you the lakes that are reopening just in time for 4th of July boating.
And we'll tell you if those high gas prices are about to be in your rear view mirror. Plus, neighbors captured the chaos outside their homes as a standoff with suburban police takes a deadly turn. This happened overnight.
Now 5 stories to know as you're walking out the door today. 3 officers were shot and a suspect is now dead following a 4-hour-long standoff in South Elgin. It began around 11 o'clock last night. Police say the suspect had a shotgun and a rifle and shot at the officers. Those officers returned fire. The officers who were shot are all expected to survive.
A man was shot and killed by police on the city's west side last night. That person got into an armed confrontation with officers. Police say this weapon was found at the scene. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability is also investigating.
The chain of lakes, in parts of the Fox River will reopen in about an hour. The Fox Waterway Agency says normal boating can resume for the upper Fox River from north of the Stratton Lock and Dam to Pistake Lake. No wake boating will be in effect, though, from Algonquin to the Stratton Lock and Dam.
And you're filling your car with the highest 4th of July gas prices in 4 years, my friends. Analysts say 2 factors are pushing crude prices higher. The Trump administration is making an effort to sanction oil from Iran, and oil-producing nations are facing outages.
Well, if you can't get outside or you don't want to be out in the heat later on today, you can check out the Macy's 4th of July Fireworks Spectacular. There will be performances by the voice judges Kelly Clarkson and Blake Shelton. That spectacular airs tonight at 7 o'clock right here on NBC5.
Well, for heading out the door this morning, lots of blue sky and sunshine. Hail to Old Glory. It's going to be a hot and humid day today. Upper 80s to low 90s. It'll feel more like 100, especially inland. And yes, there'll be some gusty thunderstorms moving across 30 to 40% of the area. But fireworks this evening.
Have fun.
Happy 4th of July.